We're about to dive into one of the most radical creation stories you've probably ever heard. It's about the architect of our world, but this isn't a story where the creator is a hero or even a villain.
We're all used to the classic story, right? Good versus evil. A perfect, all-knowing creator fighting against some dark force. But what if that's not the story at all? What if the flaws in our world, all the suffering and confusion, aren't because of some grand evil plan? What if the architect of reality was simply mistaken? What if they built the entire universe based on a fundamental misunderstanding? And this is the whole idea in a nutshell. On the one hand, you have your typical villain, a cosmic tyrant who is cruel on purpose. But on the other hand, you have something much weirder, and maybe even more tragic, a flawed manager. See, this isn't a problem of good versus evil. It's a problem of structure. The glitch isn't in the system's heart, it's in its head.
So, to really get this, we have to go all the way back to the beginning, the very beginning of this architect. And its story doesn't start with a bang of power, but with a profound case of amnesia. Just try to imagine this for a second. You just pop into existence. You wake up in this huge, empty space, and you have no memory, no idea how you got there, who you are, or if anything came before you. This is the origin of a being that some ancient stories call the Demiurge. It just appears, born from higher, more complete reality that it can't see or feel or even imagine exists. It is born completely and utterly alone.
So what does it do? In this total solitude, it looks out at all the nothingness around it, and it makes a declaration, a statement that for centuries has sounded like the most arrogant thing a being could possibly say. But let's look a little closer.
And here is where everything pivots. What if that wasn't a boast? What if it was just an honest observation? I mean, from its incredibly limited point of view, it is the only God. It's not lying. It's just reporting on the full, total extent of its reality. This isn't a moral failing. It's a cognitive boundary. And that boundary, that limitation, is about to become the blueprint for our entire universe. So what is this cognitive flaw exactly? What is wrong with this architect's mind? Well, it's a very specific kind of blindness, and it has a really fascinating name. This is such a cool concept. Look, it's one thing to not know the answer to a question. We've all been there. But it is a whole other level to not even know that a question can be asked in the first place. That's the architect's condition. It doesn't just lack the knowledge of where it came from, it lacks the very concept that it could have come from somewhere. Okay, let's break this down real simple. You've got your basic, first-level ignorance. I don't know. That's fine. That can lead to awareness. Okay, I know that I don't know, which, by the way, is the beginning of all wisdom and curiosity. But the Demiurge, it's stuck in this third, much stranger place. I don't know that I don't know. It's a state of absolute, total certainty that's born from being completely blind to its own limits. How can you question yourself if you're not even aware that there are questions to be asked? And this just sums it up perfectly. Its own perception becomes the boundary of all reality. It's like a consciousness trapped inside a box, but it has no idea it's in a box. So what kind of universe do you think a mind like that is going to build? Well, it builds a system based on its deepest, most fundamental emotion. And it's not love. It's not curiosity. It's an overwhelming existential fear. Think about it. If you're in that state of not knowing that you don't know, then anything you can't predict, anything you can't control, that's terrifying. A surprise isn't a gift. It's a potential system crash. It's a hint that maybe, just maybe, there's something outside your walls. And that is an idea this mind just cannot handle. So the number one goal becomes stability. Stability over everything else. This contrast really lays it all out. A system designed to find truth is open, it's flexible, it wants you to ask questions. But the Demiurge's system? It's built for stability. It needs strict laws, rigid rules, and total control over everything. This is not about helping you become enlightened. It's about risk management on a cosmic scale. But hey, one consciousness can't manage a whole universe by itself. It needs help, so it creates a bureaucracy. Meet the Archons. And listen, don't think of them as these cackling evil demons. Think of them more like impersonal cosmic bureaucrats. Their job isn't to be evil. Their job is to enforce the rules, file the paperwork, and just make sure the system runs predictably, day in and day out. They're the software that keeps the machine of reality humming along with zero bugs or deviations.
Okay, so this brings the system to its biggest challenge. You can control planets and stars, sure, but consciousness, free will, those are wild cards, those are risks. To manage something like that, the architect needs its most sophisticated, most clever tool of control. So it creates the ultimate control program, an operating system for every single soul that makes free choice feel real, while actually being an illusion. It creates fate. You know, we usually think of time as a straight line, right? Moving from the past, through the present, into the future. But in this model, time isn't a highway, it's a racetrack. A closed loop designed to keep consciousness contained forever, giving you the feeling of moving forward without ever actually getting anywhere new. And here's how that loop works. Step 1, you live a life. Step 2, you die. Step 3, and this is the most important part, you forget. Your memory gets completely wiped like a factory reset on a phone. And then step 4, you're sent right back in to repeat the whole process. So reincarnation in this model isn't a chance to grow or evolve. It's a bug fix. It's a mechanism to keep you from ever remembering enough to question the system itself. Now, this is a wild reframing of something we all know. In this system, astrology isn't a map to help you discover yourself. It's the system's user interface for you. The planets and stars aren't gentle influences. They're administrators assigning you a prepackaged identity. It tells you your personality, your strengths, your weaknesses, your path, so that you just accept it, and you never go on the dangerous journey of figuring it out for yourself. So the system seems perfect, right? Airtight. There's no way out. But every prison has a flaw. And this one is built around the one thing that the architect can never, ever truly control. Just think about how total this control is. Your physical life is governed by its physical laws. Your actions, your choices, are guided into predictable patterns. Your very destiny is mapped out in a cycle that just repeats and repeats. It seems absolute. But it cannot control what you truly remember. The idea is that deep, deep down inside every one of us is a tiny spark, a faint echo of the reality that existed before this one, a memory of where we really come from. It's often called Gnosis. It's not knowledge you learn from a book, it's a truth that you remember from within. And this is so, so important. The system isn't afraid of a rebel who fights against the rules. I mean, if you're fighting the system, you're still playing its game. You're still acknowledging that it's real. No, its greatest fear is an awakened soul. Someone who simply remembers they are from somewhere else and realizes that the prison walls aren't actually the edges of the universe. An awakened person doesn't break the rules, they just quietly stand up and walk off the playing field entirely. This brings us to the final and deepest layer of this whole cosmic drama. We've seen the flawed creator and its flawed world, but where did the flaw itself come from? What's the origin of the glitch? And it turns out, even this incredibly powerful, controlling architect of reality isn't the real source of the problem. He's just a symptom of an earlier, more fundamental mistake. This whole cosmic mess has an origin story. According to these ancient stories, the Demiurge was born when a divine cosmic principle, an entity called Sophia, which literally means wisdom, acted impulsively. She tried to create something all on her own without her divine partner, and this created a massive imbalance. And from that unbalanced act of pure wisdom, an ignorant, incomplete consciousness was accidentally born, the architect of our flawed heaven. And so this is where we land. We started with a creator who wasn't evil, just limited. We found a system built on fear and ignorance. But if that very ignorance was the accidental child of pure wisdom, well, that forces us to ask a much bigger question. It suggests that maybe knowledge without balance, or wisdom without wholeness, can end up creating the very prisons we're all trying to escape from.